Hi guys, welcome to Finish Awesome Friday for another week. Today we discuss the third and final layer of destroying your weaknesses. Okay, so the first layer, the foundation, okay, that is your mind. Okay, getting your mind ready, getting your mind prepared and getting it into a positive mind frame for what you're about to do, whether that be your nutrition, whether that be your training, whether that just be, you know, one habit that you need to eliminate from your sort of life, like i.e. smoking, i.e. eating sugary foods late at night, whatever it might be. You need to start building those habits, and those habits then grow, but you shouldn't really be trying to take on too much at the same time. You should be trying to tackle one thing at a time, being positive with that and making those changes through your lifetime to get the goals that you want to do. So that is your mindset, that is getting ready for the next stages. The next stage was movement, okay? Your meat and potatoes, the structure of the 3 layers of awesome for destroying your weaknesses is ensuring you can actually do the movements that you need to do to then go on to train and push your body as much as you can, okay? So you're talking about, you know, basics of squatting, hinging, pushing and pulling, and getting in your arms and shoulders and everything in the right position so that you don't cause yourself injury when you actually start pushing yourself in your training, okay? So movement becomes a massive important part of it. As I say, it's the meat and potatoes of everything else that you do. If you're not moving properly, then you're not going to be able to do the rest of it properly, okay? The third and final part, the peak of it, the cherry on top, is then starting to work on your weaknesses in terms of energy pathways, okay? This is something that I've talked about in the past in terms of the periodization, okay? So bear with me while I repeat myself, but it's a massively important part of what we do here at UP Performance and how we train our athletes, okay? So, 3 energy pathways. You have 3 main energy pathways in the body, how your body breaks down energy in the body and utilizes it for fuel to actually do the movements that you're going to do, okay? You've got your phosphagen, okay, your creatine phosphagen, okay? That is power and strength-based stuff, so short, sharp, explosive movements. And strength movements are going to be worked mostly in that area, okay? You've got to think like big, strong powerlifters and weightlifters. You've got to think about power athletes like sprinters, American football players, rugby players. Those sort of players will be, you know, in terms of power, will work a lot in the phosphagen area, okay? The anaerobic work, okay? This is where a lot of the muscle and fat loss protocols will fall into, okay? So that's where you've got to think of it. It's, you know, very much the 6 to 15 rep range in terms of weights. It's your 200 to 400 meters, maybe even pressing on the 800 meters, depending how quickly you can do it. You know, it's that sort of that mid-range stuff, that burn, that lactic burn that you get. That is going to be the energy pathway you're working from there. Okay, so you know, again, the majority of people, you know, will be training around that area anyway. And your aerobic is your endurance-based stuff, so your long-distance cardio and your high-rep work in terms of weight exercises, okay? So they're the 3 energy pathways that you work, okay? But obviously, there will always be, generally with people, a weakness in their frame. And what we try to do when we say and destroy your weaknesses, okay, when it comes to the energy pathways, you need to start looking at what you're not doing and start implementing that into your training so that it doesn't become either as much of a weakness or can actually become a strength in the future, okay? And there's a couple of ways of attacking it, so I'll show you a couple of ways how we would look at doing it in terms of creating a more awesome athlete and just generally being a bit more fit and healthier, okay? So the simplest way you can look at this, okay, if you're someone that is looking to get generally fit, generally stronger, you know, and actually just looking to become an all-round awesome athlete, okay, that's the sort of the easiest way to put it, then you would want to make sure you're training all 3 emphases, that's a tough word to say on Saturday morning, but you want to make sure you're training each energy pathway of equal amount, okay? So you would spend a third of your training in the phosphagen area working on power and strength, spend a third of your training working on that lactic threshold, the muscle and the fat loss that you come from there, and a third of your training would be spent doing more aerobic based stuff, longer based cardio or higher based reps, you know, just pushing that particular envelope, okay? If you were to work all 3 at an even kill, okay, and if you were interested in terms of programming that and how that is programmed, obviously at UP Performance we do it a particular way, and we actually emphasize and show our athletes which energy pathway they're going to be emphasizing which in each session, and that's how we, you know, determine and push those particular realms, okay? But if you were to do that, you would become all round more perfect, and obviously wouldn't have as many weaknesses as the next person, okay? Normally what happens when I start training people or they come to my classes or they train from there, they normally show a great strength. And normally for my classes, it's normally more over this realm. Okay, so you're looking more at the phosphagen, and the anaerobic stuff is normally okay for them to do. They don't mind doing that stuff. Because I deal with a lot of strength-based programming, strength-based sort of classes. That is what I'll find that I'll attract in terms of especially a lot of the male people that come to the class. They're very strong, very good anaerobically. Okay. What they generally lack is more the anaerobic to aerobic based stuff. So for them, if they were to come and train with me or train EP Performance, I would say, right, okay, you are very good, very strong. You know, you can deadlift twice your body weight. You know, your bench is body weight and a half. So you know, let's not worry about that. You're strong enough. There's and unless you're going to compete at a top level, there's no reason to get much stronger than that. You know, you're already at a good kiln. Let's start looking at pushing the other envelope. You know, and I've had it before. You know, people come and PT with me, and they'll love the strength stuff that we do. But the second that I get them on a treadmill or on a bike and start going beyond 2 minutes, and I know myself because I'm not the greatest aerobic athlete, but I know it's an emphasis that I have to push. But when I get them to do it, they give them 1 or 2 rounds of a particular sort of metabolic power circuit, which is aerobic based, and they're on their ass. They can't literally do the circuit anymore. They have to sort of tap out at that stage. Okay, so I know that that's the emphasis we need to put onto them. Okay, so I might either just have it in there as a general. I might, when I program it, I'll literally have all 3 work at equal emphasis and just allow that to build up. And that's the way to do it. The other extreme, obviously, is having people that are very much, aerobic based, marathon runners or just runners in general, cyclists, rowers, people like that spend their time doing long based, cardio. They will lack, to improve that any more than they can. In fact, the thing that they're lacking it will help them out with that. Okay, so if you're someone that does a lot of aerobic based stuff, you need to spend probably at least a third of your training, over in the phosphagen area. Okay, that means just doing some sort of strength or power-based work along with your training. Okay, the simplest way people can do this. Okay, this is a quick fix that can help people out straight away. If you're more of a power-based athlete and you train more with power and anaerobic stuff, I would recommend just throwing in 2 or 3 sessions a month where you're working just purely on an aerobic base. Okay, so just a 2,000 meter row, around a mile run, and then maybe a 3K bike ride or something like that. That's enough in my ideas in my opinion to sort of give you some aerobic stuff to do each month that just works that emphasis. It's not necessarily going to make you much stronger in it, but if you do it repeatedly over the year, you're not going to get much weaker at it either. You should find that your aerobic base will improve, and when your aerobic base improves, guess what? For most people, they've found that weakness, they're hitting that weakness, and their strength and their anaerobic threshold will improve as well, because they're finding an area that they're not very good at. They've added it to their training, even if it's just a couple of sessions a month, and they can make improvements in it. The same the other way around. If you're someone that spends a long time doing endurance-based stuff and you're like on the road a lot and doing everything else from there, that's great, but you really need to make sure that at least 3 or 4 of your sessions a month, again, maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, even better. Just a short, powerful, explosive strength session thrown in there. As I say, it only needs to be half an hour max, really, that you could come in and do, say, some deadlifts and some bench press. That'd be enough to kind of hit all the major muscle groups in the body, but add some strength and power into your program as well. So as you can see, that's the simplest way to just add in a little quick fix. But if you want to look at it in terms of how we do it at UP Performance, if I was to take, for example, someone that works very much in the strength area, what I would actually get them to do is look at emphasising their weaknesses as shorter term fix, but for the overall long term goals. So furthest away from their competition, or furthest away from something that they want to compete in, or whatever. So if you've got someone that's very much a strength based athlete, then what I would actually get them to do is go into an aerobic based program. Okay, so 50% of the time I look at spending in the aerobic capacity, okay, with the other 25% being worked in the other 2 categories, okay, which would mean over the course of the weeks and months they're spending a lot of time in their aerobic capacity. But I'd only get them to do that maybe for 4 to 8 weeks, maybe really push that emphasis. As I say, the furthest away from competition is going to be, because it's going to be the opposite of what they do and actually really just build that aerobic base up. And then as the sessions go closer towards it, you might then change that 50% over to the anaerobic or to the phosphagen, and then start emphasising their strength and power again. Okay, so that's just a shorter term way of doing it. It's it's a bit more hardcore if you don't like your aerobic work, but it will really emphasise that particular weakness in you. And then when you come back to your phosphagen training again, you can drop it down from there. Or if people don't want to do that and they really just don't like aerobic work, you can just do it anyway. So you can just say, right, okay, you're someone that likes to work in strength, so 50% of the time we're going to work in the phosphagen area. Okay, that's an area you like, but we obviously got to make sure we do some muscle building and fat loss work, and then I'm going to throw in some aerobic work as well, so 25% of the time. So you could do it the other way around as well and still give them some aerobic base work, but allow them to spend a lot more of their time over in the phosphagen and strength stuff. So as you can see, you can mix it up, you can change it, but the idea with destroying your weaknesses is to figure out what that weakness is. Okay, it shouldn't be too difficult. If I was to say to you, I want you to do 3 sessions in a week, I want you to do your 1 rep max on your deadlift and bench. One session, I want you to come in the next session and do 8x8 on push press overhead and back squats. And then on Friday, I want you to come in and do a 2,000 meter row and a mile run. Okay, what you will know instantly which session you're least looking forward to in the week. That will give you an idea of what one you probably emphasize a lot and what one you would try and avoid a lot. And also, you'll know which one is going to be your best performance and your worst performance from there. Okay, so you'd come in maybe to your power one, you'd smash it. You lift loads of weight, you'd feel strong. Everything's great. You'd come into the 8x8, which is going to be working your anaerobic stuff. You'd push it hard. It's still barbell work, so you're still feeling good, but it's going to be much tougher on you, but you'll still get through it. And then when it comes to the aerobic one on the Friday, you'd probably ring in sick and say, sorry, I can't make it in today because my legs don't work because of the 8x8 sort of work on the barbell, or my cat's sick, whatever the excuse might be. But you'll find that avoidance from there, or mentally you'd not be looking forward to it, so your performance in that aerobic one probably be rubbish. And the other way around, if you're very much an aerobic based athlete, you might find you come in and you're just not motivated to pick up that heavy weight. So you'll lift weights, you'll get up to a certain number and you'll be like, okay, I'm done, that's me done on that. The 8x8 you probably will get through again, but the weights won't be that great. So you'll get through the session, but it won't push you as hard as it could, because you're not working with the intensity that you need to make that effective. But then your aerobic one, you'll come in and kill it, and maybe get a 5 minute mile time and smash out the row in under 7 minutes, and actually be a legend in the aerobic capacity. So you're as I say, the thing that you will emphasize there, if you were to do that as a test, for example, would show you quite simply what you lack and what you need to work on. There's just a simple test week you could do to see where your weaknesses lie and go from there. Hope that's a benefit to you guys. As I say, it's just a quick explanation as to why we program the way we do at UP Performance, and how I personally now program every single session to ensure that emphases are being hit, and making sure that all 3 energy pathways are being met in terms of not being weak. Okay, if you do that, if you work all 3 energy pathways, if you make sure your movements are correct, and you get your mindset right to killing tasks and making sure that you're positive in the way you think and the way you train and the way you do everything in life, then guess what? You're going to be the most awesome you can be. And that is all it's about, really, at the end of the day. If you're not training for a particular sport or for a particular endeavour, and you're just looking to be fit as you can be, then you cannot go far wrong by just working on those 3 elements through the year. And then at the end of the year, guess what? You're going to be a million times better than you were at the start of that year. Okay, there's no reason to have a weakness in that sense. Okay. Hope you enjoyed, guys. As I say, any videos or any things you want me answering or going through on the Finish Awesome Friday or the Movement Mondays, just send me an email, pop me a message on Facebook or on Instagram. I'll see you guys soon. Just be awesome. Have a great weekend. Catch you later, guys.